The first time I went to Spain, I was a teenager. It was like a school trip. Me and like 9 other kids in my high school, we got plucked, and my mom threw down the money, and she sent me to Spain to learn a thing or two. And I had an interesting time. But it was in Spain where I had my first experience with culture clash. And in Madrid, I was taken to a bullfight. As you do, you're a tourist, they take you to a bullfight. And all of you know enough about the bullfight to know that there's a matador, there's a bull, and there's a dead bull by the end of it. And so it was an interesting day. And so there I am in this massive bull ring, and the bull comes in. They let the bull in, and the bull runs in and just looks around. And what you might not ever consider, what the bull is going through, the bull is like a farm animal, and the bull usually smells all day he smells other bulls. He smells grass, he smells urine, he smells food, and, maybe a few other things. But when the bull is let into the bull ring, the bull smells the perspiration of thousands of people. His olfactory is overwhelmed. Also, the bull is used to a certain level of dB, just sound. Other bovine creatures, the sound of leaves being blown by the wind. Perhaps the loudest thing that the bull heard on that day before going into the bull ring was the engine of the truck that brought him and the sound of the highway. And so when the bull runs in, his eyes are overwhelmed by a bunch of motion. His hearing is overwhelmed by the sheer dB level of people cheering and screaming. And his nose, he's smelling all of those people. And so when the bull comes in, the bull has no clue what's going on. And you can see the confusion on the bull. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Because the bull is completely cornered, and all of a sudden he's surrounded by men on horses, brightly, gaily dressed men in tailored, wild, bright outfits who are like, hi! And they run away on horses, and they stab the bull, and then people are like, yeah! And I just see these guys basically cheap-shotting a bull. They're running up, on a horse, and then they're running away, and I'm like, you fucking pussies, what the fuck is that? And so I'm 17 years old, so I go boo! Because it was fucked up. 300 people turn and go boo! I got booed and hissed. It was my first bad review. There were so many more to come. And so for the next several minutes, men on horses stab the bull with these swords, and they leave the swords in the bull's back, and now the bull is bleeding, the bull's running around. The matador is in a beautiful outfit, custom sewn, so his beautiful buttocks are taut. And he's a magnificently charismatic man, and most of his moves are like ballet. He gets so close to the bull, oh, you almost got me. I turned my back to you because I am so brave. Ha ha! I'm doing many things. And the bull's like, what the fuck? I'm bleeding, I'm hurting, and I've got this man flouncing around like some kind of weird bastard with an electric cord up his ass going, would you please let me go back to my farm? And people are cheering every single time the bull goes by, and the guy goes with his cape. I'm like, so what? So fuck you too. And so finally, after much stabbing, and the bull is tired, the bull is sweating, the bull has a lather coming out of its mouth, and all these swords bouncing off his ribcage as he runs around. Finally, it's the big showdown where the matador and the bull face off, and this is where the matador is at his most vulnerable, because to deliver the kill shot, he must lean over the horns of the bull and deliver the sword basically right here, killing the bull. If he does it right, it's lights out for the bull. It's a fairly merciful killing, but he's leaning over the horns, and the horns are all business. The horns will fuck you up. And so at this moment, it's and everyone's tense and quiet because this man is staring death in the eyes. This very brightly dressed brave man, this warrior, this gladiator, this bull killer. And he has his back to the retaining wall of the bull ring. So it's the wall, his butt, and a bull. And he's and the bull kind of went and he dipped low and came up right, and he went right into the guy's rib cage and gored the fuck out of the guy. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, a man bleeding to death, a man with children. Yeah, fucking die. Look at you, you fucking... You murderers, you brutal people, you. And so he goes to work on the man's rib cage, and the bull is very adept with using his horns. He's basically and the man is just a man. The bull has a neck bigger around than your waist. And the bull is all muscle. The man, he's just 180 pounds of a soon-to-be dead bullfighter. And so the bull's working his rib cage, and the guy's flapping around in the air like the proverbial rag doll. And I have photos of all of it. I've got my little Instamatic camera my mom loaned me. Don't lose this! I'm okay. And I'm taking photos of this bull just fucking this man up. And they eventually run over to the bull and they distract the bull. Hey, oh, over here, free treats, lap dances over here. Bull, hey, look over there. And the bull goes, huh? And they drag the man away. And the matador, he's a proud macho man, and he tries to stand up to show, I am not hurt. And he stands up, and I think the bull tore one of his kneecaps off, and his leg went sideways, and he hit the ground, and they picked him up, and they kind of dragged him away, and everyone cheered like, you brave man, fuck the bull, you're a brave man. And they bring out the understudy matador. They have a matador waiting in the wings, like, okay, kid, if the big guy gets gored, you're in. And, he's down in the locker room with a cape, warming up. All right, kid, the big guy's bleeding out. Go, go, go. Make us look good. Kill the fuck out of that bull. How dare he get some revenge? And so they bring in the new guy, and the new guy killed the bull. It's very dramatic. And the bull fell. And they dragged the bull around the ring 3 times just so you knew it was dead. And I walked out of there going like, well, fuck that culture. And, you don't like me? Well, I don't like you either. And that sucked. And it took me years to kind of make sense and articulate all of that. Many years later, like 2000, 2001, I was in Spain playing music. And I was in some city in the north. I'm forgetting the exact town. And it was a long festival was happening, like a week-long festival. And they were having bands, they were having movies and plays and all of that. And they were having a bullfight, or at least one. And I found out that we were sharing a hotel with the Matadors. And so I'm going down to sound check at this big outdoor venue, and I get out of the elevator, and I'm standing in the lobby waiting for my worthy constituents to show up so we can go in the van and go to the gig. And I notice that there's beautiful women all over the lobby, and they're looking around expectantly, like, and I'm thinking maybe they're waiting for me, but that's not true. And you also know that Spain is full of beautiful women, like magnificent, like just staggering beauties. These were the top shelf beautiful women of Spain. They were just pulverizingly beautiful. And there's men with cameras. Everyone seems to be, oh, someone's coming down soon. We're waiting for someone. And then the elevator doors open. And the matadors, the bullfighters came out. And these men have these amazing outfits. I mean, every bit of man is displayed like, I'm huge, I'm taut. And they look amazing. I mean, they're like these young guys, and they have makeup on. They have like pancake makeup, and they're wearing mascara, and their hair is perfect. And they look like, they're just like, whoa, ha. And the women see them and surge forward. And out of the ether, these large men in suits fly in front of them to protect the bullfighters from the women who want to rip their clothes off. You see these women with their vulvas out of control. Take me home. No, take me. Take me. And these guys are like, no, I can't. I have a bull to kill. And these men are like, no. And the men come out with their cameras, and you realize these guys are rock stars. And so finally the bullfighters leave the lobby, and then the lobby's empty. There's just me standing there waiting for the rest of the band to come down. I said, you really missed it. There are these bullfighters, man. It was like the Beatles walked out of here in 1964 or something. It was really incredible. And so I started thinking about that. Like, what are these bullfighters really? Are they brave warriors, or are they just kind of sexy butchers? They're butchers. They're sexy butchers. But unlike a real butcher who shows up every day and renders animals into foodstuffs, they're not nearly as merciful as real butchers. They're unmerciful butchers with good tailors. And that's all it is. And it made me think of a bigger thing. The idea of the sexualization of death and torture and maiming something else, how we make it sexy, how we make it cool. And there's nothing new about it, and I'm as guilty of being interested in this as anyone else. If I was given a choice between 2 documentaries to watch sitting in economy on a long airplane flight, it's a 2-hour documentary about a man who planted trees. That's what he did. He planted trees all over the world. He just put seeds in the ground. Or we have this 2-hour documentary about a guy who gutted and raped a whole bunch of women in the Pacific Northwest. Well, which one would you like to see? Serial killer, the guy who gutted and maimed. What, are you into that shit? Well, no, I don't want to gut and maim anyone. Then why don't you want to watch the guy plant the seeds in the ground? Are you fucking kidding me? A guy planting seeds in the ground, or a guy stabbing women to death in the back of his car? I mean, come on, it's a no-brainer. You're going to go with a serial killer. And so like, wow, Ted Bundy touched that? Yeah, can I touch it too? I mean, like, that was Ted Bundy's guitar? Wow, that was Jack the Ripper's golf club? I mean, people want to see this stuff. And so you see these people with their fucking skull tattoos on them and all this shit, and you go like, wow.